I got beat up by a nun. She once walked me up against a locker, and she was like, kind of like threatening me, and then popped my head like, oh, and it cut the back of my head. I was like, Jesus.
Fully Loaded is coming your way this summer, the biggest party of the summer with the best comedians in the world. Big J. Okerson, Mark Norman, Dave Attell, Dan Soder, Whitney Cummings, Tony Hinchcliffe, Stavros Halkias, Matt McCusker. I'm telling you, we're adding more people. We've got a big announcement we can't mention that'll be on that first week, starting June 12th in Macon, Georgia, Charleston, South Carolina, Savannah, Georgia, West Palm Beach, Florida, Daytona Beach, Florida, Canton, Ohio, Columbia, Maryland, Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, Darien Center, New York, Rogers, Arkansas, Camdenton, Missouri, Brandon, Mississippi, and Orange Beach, Alabama. I'll throw the party. All you got to do is show up. So he asked me to bring him out on stage last night, and I'm better at, this is Marcus King.
Oh, yeah, okay. I've seen this guy. Yeah.
He's fucking amazing.
Do people lose their minds?
Well, I went out last night, ripped my shirt off, and then I gave what we can only be determined as one of the most gospel-induced fucking speeches to a group of fucking white people. The Lord himself licked his fingers and said, boy, show the world what you can do on that guitar. This boy is touched. Hailing from Greenville, South Carolina. And it was wild. And then we got pretty fucked up last night.
Oh my gosh. I can't believe that you're up and ready to go for this now.
Already worked out.
See, that's the way to do it.
Do you drink?
I do drink, but I don't like, when I have to do a bunch of shit, I can't. Like, I'm like, because I feel like I can't, like I have two kids. I have a 7-year-old and a 10-year-old. So it's like, life gets started at 6 a.m., whether my night ended at 3 or whatever. So it's like, sometimes when I'm like in the middle of doing a bunch of shit, I'll like, I just got to stay mellow and not, because I will just be so slow in that first part of the day.
I would say, I'm very critical of my parenting.
Yeah.
Like I've always been, we're rolling, right?
Oh, should we roll? Okay.
Yeah. Are you cool? By the way, anything you say that you don't want in,
No,
we'll take out.
I'm going to be,
Okay.
I'm good.
But I'm very critical of my parenting because I don't remember being present when they were like 10 and 7. Or like when they were, I don't remember. I know I was
How old are your kids right now?
I don't know. 17 and 19.
Okay.
I almost would argue I have a better relationship now than I did then. Although I was a good dad.
Right.
But I look at like all my friends like that have kids now that are all wealthy and have kids.
Yeah.
And I just talked to John Mulaney about this the other day. I was like, the luxury of not struggling for money as a dad is like, I'm jealous. I said to him, I'm jealous. I love that how all you guys are doing it. Andrew Schultz, Tom Segura, Bill Burr, Rogan. I mean, they're all like really, Chris DiStefano. They're all like, I'm going to turn that weekend down. I want to spend time with my kid. Yeah. I didn't have that luxury. I was making $1,500 a week on the road.
I mean, neither did I. Like, you're always, I feel like I'm always in this zone of, you got to keep on working and you got to find those times.
But you always work.
Right. But it's at that zone of, I love what I do. Everything is perfect. I'm not in any way poor, but it's also like, you got to just keep on working. Like, it's like, work just begets more work and you can't just stop.
No.
I think the best thing I did was when we had our first kid, I took a month off.
How old were you when you had your first kid?
Probably like 30, 35 or something like that.
Put that in perspective. So you don't remember meeting me the first time I met you. I feel like this is the first time we actually ever met.
Yeah.
But Human Giant did a show at the Irvine Improv.
Oh my gosh, I remember that show.
Had a t-shirt gun.
Yeah. Okay,
and
yeah.
Me and Tom Segura were open for you guys.
Oh my gosh. I remember that show because it was like this weird zone where we're trying to get people to watch our MTV show. Were we nice?
Most of you were.
Okay. I'm
sure you know who wasn't.
But
Rob Hubel.
Yeah, Rob.
He was a very, very, very sweet guy.
I love Rob.
As were you.
Oh man. But this is the thing. I think that we get to do this job that we love. And I do love my job. And there'll be moments where I'm like, oh, I wish I was away because I just want to do this thing and it'll be so much fun. But we get to be home during the week a lot, which is amazing. Like we get I don't know, this is the thing I go through all the time. I'll be like, oh man, I'm overwhelmed. I just want to get away for a little bit. I go away for about like 12 hours. I'm like, I miss my kids and I want to be back home and with them. So I'm always kind of wrestling with that thing. Like the worst thing for me would be like, hey man, your movie shoots in Romania. I mean, where did your movie shoot?
Serbia.
So, right. It's like, and you're like, you're there. Like there's no quick flight to Atlanta.
I was just thinking of that today. As I was like, and I think it's because I'm obsessed with how this got made.
Oh yeah.
But
come on. It'd be great.
Yeah. But I was like, yeah, I just left for 3 months. And I didn't actually think about it.
Yeah.
Like I didn't question it. I was just like, yeah, Dad's going to work.
Yeah.
And I remember a long time ago, Chris Hardwick said to me, it's like a real meeting of like two different men.
Yeah.
He said, don't you find it irresponsible to be a father and to be out on the road working the way you do? Like, don't you feel like, and I was like, it isn't a valid question.
Right.
It's a privileged question. Because the average man,
right.
Look, there's dudes that go to war for 2 years, don't come home. You know, like there's like
100%.
There's
my brother-in-law's a merchant marine. He goes away for 6 weeks, back for 4 weeks, gone for 6 weeks. It's just, that's the life.
It's a life. But it is a valid question because what are you having kids for if you're not? I mean, like, I don't know. I got caught up in it. So when you were 35, you had your first son.
I had my first son. And I was like, the one thing I wanted to do was I want to be there for the family. I want to be in it. So I took a month off of just not doing anything, like not having to worry about being on Zooms or not even Zooms back then, but not doing anything. And in many respects, it was like a great thing to do because it was like my wife and I were able to get on the same wavelength because that's like an intense time. Your life is changing. I always feel like people don't talk about this, but you have to like mourn your old life. You have a kid and you're like, oh shit, that part of me is dead on some level. Like this is the part where you don't care. Like now you have to keep a human being alive. And that's a whole different thing. Like you can't just go out and get a beer. You have to be like, all right, do I have a nanny? Do I have a person coming over here? Got to put the kid in the thing, dress him up, put him out, put him, it's like life just becomes complicated.
Wait, how great was, you just reminded me, that first month of having a baby, the teamwork, the partnership you have with your partner, it's the most connective you've ever been with that person.
You're like a barback. Your wife is like the bartender and you're like, what do you need? Got ice? Got this. I'm here. You're just like working it.
Let me take her. You get some. Oh, that was like a badass feeling.
Yeah.
For me, I would come back from there. I worked my whole first month of Georgia's, all of our life. I've been on the roads for 20 years. I'm taking my first time off in July.
Wow.
July for the first time ever. But when Georgia was born, I was on the road.
Yeah.
It's so funny. I had this moment with Chappelle the other night where I told him I was feature and I would come home from the road and Leanne, and I'd take Georgia so Leanne could sleep.
Yeah.
And I'd watch Tough Crowd and Chappelle Show.
Yeah, the best.
Because I had it on DVR.
Yeah, right.
And I had the whole week that I missed.
Right.
And I remember those, like that is my, like that feeling when you're like, I got you. Get some rest.
Yeah. It's a great feeling because you're like, I think you're just a part of the team, right? And I have talked to a lot of different women whose husbands, and look again, are gone in that first period of time. And I think there's a lot of tension and a lot of shit that can get like built up, but you have to find that balance for yourself. And obviously you're providing, you're trying to, it's a lot of things you got to balance and check into.
Yeah.
And I wanted to try to clear that deck for me for a little bit, just to be there and understand like what my role needed to be. And now, like, I think my wife is, working actress. She works all the time. We work all the time. And we're just always trying to make the best time we have. It's like, I used to think it was all about being a great dad at all moments. And now I'm just like, I'd rather just have like a great moment than a great day. Like a great day is hard to do. How do I keep a kid entertained for, 15 hours? It's not going to happen. I'm going to lose my temper at one point. I'm going to, that's not going to be a happy moment. We'll be silent. But like, if I can create these great moments, and kids remember the moments, they don't remember like, oh, that whole day was amazing. So if I can just kind of clock in and be present for time, and whenever I'm not out, I try to be home for dinner and just be there, and just like that's the important stuff that I find,
Yeah, I feel like my lifestyle crept into the family.
Yeah,
because I never could be comfortable. You had your first kid. Were you shooting the league when you had your first kid?
Yeah.
Oh, so you have okay. That's
so. I had a TV show, which was good, But again,
how fun was that show?
The best. The league is super fun, because it was this like no one paid attention to us. We're on this like little island over there, right? We're doing this show about fantasy football. FX is like, we do high elevated nip tuck art. You know, we were doing hour-long dramas. We don't, you know, and they supported us, but we got to kind of just do whatever we wanted.
What a crazy amount of talent.
Crazy cast.
I mean, you couldn't afford that cast.
No, well, I mean, by the way.
And what was there's like two brothers that were.
The Duplass brothers, right? Yeah. I mean,
those motherfuckers.
And they were already doing this thing. But here's the thing. Just not like, and who cares about money? But when we first started that show, we were getting paid like $5,000 an episode. National network television show. Like, you know, that like if you put that in perspective, like people who are on NBC are getting like $40,000, you know, like for the first season. Like, so we were a cheap little show that no one really cared about. And then we got to grow and do the stuff. And a lot of that is because of the creator, Jeff Schaefer and Jackie Schaefer. Jeff was like on Seinfeld and Curb and did all this stuff. So he came in and we got to improvise the show and do this in this really fun way.
Was the guy on the show, and I'm good friends with Steve Renazizi.
Yeah, love Steve.
But John LaJoy?
Yeah, John LaJoie.
John LaJoie. That dude crept into my life again the other day. I'm just an average everyday.
Dude, that guy is incredibly talented, got like super popular for doing these like funny YouTube things, but his actual songwriting
it wasn't even YouTube. I think it was MySpace.
Wow.
Like, I mean,
oh my gosh,
honestly, I think when he was doing that, because he was at the the Addison Improv, like doing his show, and I was like, oh, I wonder who this is this guy? And I checked out one of his videos. I was like, that song still sticks in my head as a good song.
That's what I'm saying. Like, this guy is like, there are funny songwriters, and then there are super talented songwriters, and he's got it both. I mean, I saw Sandler tape a special for Netflix.
God, I didn't see that. It broke my heart.
He did like 2 hours, and it was like the songs that he like, and his songs. I think his like thing that's so great is like does really short songs. They're almost like 2-verse songs. Yeah. And you can't like you just get them in, you get them out. It's like it's such a funny thing, but like that, there's a part of me that's like, oh, I wish I could do that, have that talent to like be able to make a good song and it be funny. Yeah.
I've been. That's how I got when I started this. When I started being funny, it was by writing songs.
Really?
Yeah, and then I got beat up for one of them.
What did you get beat up for?
A song. I wrote a song about
somebody
about our fraternity.
Okay.
About all the guys in our fraternity. One of the guys took it wrong and beat me up, and I haven't written a song since.
He beat the song out of you.
He beat the song out of me. But I when I moved to New York, I brought my guitar on stage one time. I was like, I'll just fucking, because I used to be able to do it. I can do it. They've seen me do it. It always goes sideways. It always turns into storming the Capitol or something. But I used to be able to do it on the fly, and I was like, oh, I'll do that on stage.
Yeah.
And I was at the Boston Comedy Club, and I brought my guitar on stage, and I started doing stand-up, and all anyone did was stare at the guitar.
Oh, right.
And then when I brought the guitar up, the place went fucking bananas, and it murdered, and I went, I'm never bringing this guitar again. I was like, this is a cheat code.
Right, it is. It's like people are in it. My friend did this bit that I always thought was so funny. He would have a guitar on, and he would just always be strumming, like get like almost, oh, he's gonna get into a song, but never get into a song. Just like, yeah, you know, I was thinking about dudes play like, and then just goes back into a full stand up, and like, it's always there. Like people just want it. It's like I felt the same way about. I came up through doing improv and and sketch, and anyone who did musical improv rap. Oh, everyone was like jizzing all over them. So I was like, oh God.
There was the guys, I bet you remember them, because we started around the same time, I'm thinking, like 97?
Yeah, probably you may start just a little bit, about the same time.
97, 98.
Yeah.
I was 26 when I started. I'm 3 years older than you or 2 years older than you.
Okay, yeah.
But you started in New York. We were very different scenes.
Yeah, I mean,
you were UCB, right? I was clubs.
Were you clubs in New York?
Yeah, clubs.
Oh, wow.
Well, I worked the door at this place called the Boston Comedy Club.
Oh my gosh.
There used to be a flyer.
I know the Boston Comedy Club. I used to work across the street from Dangerfields. That's where Chicago City Limits was. I started back in the day. Like, my first thing was like doing these like short form improv, very much like Whose Line Is It Anyway and stuff like that. And we'd always go over to like Dangerfields and stuff like that. But it wasn't, Dangerfields was never like a cool club.
I could get in the alt clubs because there was a improv group named the Bert Firstners.
I remember those guys. Chris Tallman was in that and a few other people. Yeah.
And I'd show up as Bert Kreischer, and a lot of people would be like, oh, like, no.
That's hilarious.
I didn't realize what was happening.
Right.
Until I ran into the Bert Firstners outside the Boston Comedy Club.
They had a song called Tube Top. Speaking of top,
I don't remember any. I just remember that name of that band, name of that group.
That's so crazy.
That was my first live stand-up I ever saw in New York was Stella.
Oh yeah, that was the place. I mean, dude, I fucking ate it at Stella. So Stella was, some of the guys from the state. It was like Michael Ian Black,
Michael Showalter, David Wayne. And so every week they would kind of play this movie. They would make like a short film, and it would be like Paul Rudd would be in it, and sometimes like huge stars would be in it. It was like the place to go. I remember seeing my first Stella show and looking over, and there was like Jon Stewart before Daily Show. Jon Stewart, I just knew him. I was like, whoa, holy shit! And there's like Janine Garofalo. Janine Garofalo was there that night, and I was like, fucking whoa!
It was like you look around that room, and it was like real people and celebrities. They're like, holy shit! And they asked us to do like a bit at Stella, and we're like, okay, we got to do something good. Me, Rob Hubel. Oh, this is that before even Human Giant. So this is my group, Respecto Montalban, which we did like improv and sketch out of UCB. Rob Riggle, yeah. I'm trying to think of who else you might know. The rest of them are like writers and stuff like that. Jack McBrayer was in there. And so we had this bit where like, they were right below the Blue Man Group, right? The Blue Man Group. And they're like, oh, we'll be the Blue Man Group, but come in. And then we'll do this bit where we're going to have our faces painted blue and we'll pull an audience member up and they'll be uncooperative and then we'll accidentally kill them. Right. And we're like, oh, this is going to be great. This is going to be great. Now, part of it was we come out on stage, we're having marshmallows, we're acting real stupid. And it's working. And then we were going to pull this audience member out from the audience who was a plant and then bring them backstage. And it was going to cut to a video. And in the back, we start screaming at this person, like, what the fuck are you doing? You're fucking up our shit. And they're like, well, I just came to see a comedy show. And then we push them and then she falls and breaks her neck and then blood starts spurting out of her neck and we're drenched in blood. So we bring her backstage. That video's supposed to play. And we're backstage putting all the blood on us to match the video. And then we just hear silence and we don't know what's going on. And then we just hear, we have a projector problem. And now we're covered in blood and we don't know what to do when we've established that we can't talk because we're Blue Man Group. And like we just come out on stage. Like the audience doesn't know what the fuck is going on. We're just covered in blood. We're like, we killed somebody. And then we just ran off the stage. People did not know what the fuck was going on. And it was the worst feeling to bomb. And that, like, I think, but not even a bomb. It was like, what was this? I don't even understand what I saw. Did you perform it, Stella?
No. I met David Wayne. It was fascinating to me. I met David Wayne in Greece. I met the state at Greece.
Oh, wow.
What I think is interesting is that I feel like probably in high school we were different guys. I know you're into like movies and
sure.
You're probably into reading. Like, I'm not. I was never that guy. Like I was always funny, but there was always a guy that was smart, funnier, like that.
Right. That I wasn't like smart, funny. I was just like, I had a lot of friends in a lot of different groups. So I could have friends like that. Like, I think that was like my biggest like superpowers. Like I wasn't a nerd, but I could hang out with nerds. Wasn't a jock, but I could hang out with jocks. You
have an athletic body.
Yeah, I'm ready to go.
Shockingly athletic, but you have very big hands.
Big hands, but big thighs. But
big thighs are the shit. That's explosivity.
Yeah, that I can really get that good mile running.
Did you play sports in high school?
No, I was too uncoordinated. I came from my parents are divorced. My dad is not athletic. No one was tossing the ball with me at all. My stepfather used to do this thing. It was such a fuck you. We would play baseball on our front lawn and it was just 2-person baseball. So I'm just pitching and he's hitting and, he pitched to me and strike me out. And then whenever I pitch him, he fucking slammed that ball so far. We'd send it so like, I'd have to like walk a half mile to go get the ball. And then like he'd go back in the house, do whatever he had to do and get the ball, come back. It was just like, yeah, I'm not an athletic person.
What I want to talk about your stepfather, because I know you wrote about that.
Yeah.
But what I find interesting, I also want to talk about George Bush.
Yeah.
And the second coming of George Bush.
Okay, yeah.
One night, high on coke, I got into a fight with a bunch of Europeans saying that one day in history, he will go down as one of the greatest presidents that ever lived. and slowly, as we're going to get Trump back next year, you will see that people will start going, man, I miss George Bush.
It's so crazy. His transition to like artist, nice, friendly guy who's like joking around. But that's the Bush that I feel like everyone was talking about because like, oh, he has nicknames for everybody. Yeah. He's a good time guy. Like people just wanted to like hang with him. And I feel like even the stuff that was going on, he was like, he wasn't fully aware. Like he was just kind of, he was like the host of a party. It's like, oh yeah, I don't know what's going on in the kitchen, but hey, yeah, have an appetizer, it'd be fine.
He would be amazing to run again. Like if he
would win in a landslide.
A landslide.
It would be, and that's what I'm saying. Like, there's nobody that's even like just like oddly like just humane. Like, just hey, I'm a nice normal person. Everybody else is like, I'm doing like it's just like a rogues gallery of insanity.
He wakes up with his coffee and goes, Laura, not that bad, huh? Look what they got out there now.
It's smooth. It's easy. It's like, it's funny. It's like, I think that if you looked at it like a thing, people would be like, oh yeah, Reagan is way worse than George Bush.
Oh,
it's
yeah.
Like, and back then it was totally
Nixon
different.
way worse than George Bush. When you look at all the presidents, fucking, who were we talking about yesterday? Warren Harding, worse than George Bush. Teapot Dome scandal. Listen, George Bush is going to go down in history as when this Middle East thing clears up. You remember George Bush is the first one that went over there.
Oh, I mean, he's going to like.
They tried to kill my daddy.
I think that he is just because he's like, I saw him. Yeah, I think it was like at the Trump inauguration where he was like, well, this guy. And he was like, why? Like, it's just like all of a sudden, like, why is he speaking for me? Like, I like this guy now. Like, you forget. It's also, it's like, again, going back to like childbirth or whatever. It's like, you forget how hard that first month is, like after you're out of it, like for 6 months. And he was like, oh yeah, that guy's great.
I just got invited to the Republican National Convention today.
Really?
No, I'm not a Republican. I don't think I'm registered.
Let me ask you about this.
Shoot.
Not that in particular.
Oh, I'm going.
Yeah, of course. Yeah,
going.
and you're going to be a delegate from Florida.
In a Hunter S. Thompson way, I'm going to take a epic amount of mushrooms.
Oh, my God.
I'm going to record the whole thing, and I'm going to go fucking have a fucking blast.
That would be amazing.
It's peak beach season, and you know what that means? Tattoos are in full view. What?
Tattoos.
Oh, am I saying it wrong?
Yeah.
Oh, I say tattoos. Listen, some people say vitamins, but we know what they're talking about. This podcast is sponsored by Mad Rabbit. Mad Rabbit is committed to reinventing tattoo aftercare. That's right, I say tattoo, not tattoo, like I grew up in Oklahoma. I grew up in Florida, where we're a little more fluid. Tattoos. A lot of tattoos in Florida. Founded by two friends with a passion for ink, Mad Rabbit creates simple, effective, and natural products that help improve and preserve tattoos, all delivered directly to your door. Their hero product, the Tattoo Balm, sells once every 90 seconds for a reason. It revitalizes, replenishes, and preserves tattoo ink with clean and natural ingredients, and it's both effective on both old and new tattoos and all skin types. And Mad Rabbit is truly the most effective tattoo aftercare. After using Mad Rabbit, 94% of people reported that Mad Rabbit helped preserve their tattoos' depth. 88% reported their tattoos' contrast appeared more vibrant, and 87% reported their tattoos appear more intense. That's a big deal. Listen, it's how I connected with my daughter, Georgia. My daughter, Georgia, got a tattoo, and right on the center of her chest. You know, as a dad, I was a little bothered. I didn't know the right way to say that, listen, I'm cool with the way you want to live your life. And so what I did is I sent her a whole Mad Rabbit package, and it was awesome. Shout out to the guys at Mad Rabbit. You really do great work. It's my baby girl, and if I'm putting this on my baby girl, then you can put it on yours or just yourself. Now is the time to try out Mad Rabbit. They preserved over 3 million tattoos, and they've got an exclusive offer just for Bertcast listeners. If you go to madrabbit.com/Bertcast and use promo code Bertcast, you'll receive 25% off. That's 25% off when you head to madrabbit.com/Bertcast and use our promo code Bertcast. Listen, if you've got a kid and they're getting tatted up, this is how you show them love. Mad Rabbit. This show is sponsored by Helix Sleep. The Helix lineup offers 20 unique mattresses, including their award-winning Luxe and Ultra Premium Elite collections, the Helix Plus, a mattress designed for big and tall sleepers, and the Helix Kid mattress, designed for growing bodies and endorsed by child sleep experts. So how are you going to know which Helix mattress is best for you and your body? Very simple. You take the Helix Sleep Quiz and you find your perfect mattress in under 2 minutes, and your personalized mattress is shipped straight to your door free of charge. And if your spine needs a little extra TLC, they've got you. Every Helix mattress has a hybrid design combining individually wrapped steel coils in the base with premium foam layers on top. It is the perfect combination of comfort and support. I can't believe we haven't been doing this until now. These sleep quizzes really honestly find you the perfect mattress, and the perfect mattress for the way you sleep. I only sleep on Helix mattresses, and I sleep through the roof. I mean, I sleep so good. I get in bed. I wonder if you do this, because if you don't, You need to get a Helix mattress. I get in bed and I get excited to be in bed. It's almost like running into an old friend every night. Yeah, I love that feeling. Helix is offering up to 30% off all mattress orders and 2 free pillows to our listeners. Go to helixsleep.com/Bert. That's helixsleep.com/Bert. This is their best offer yet, and it won't last long. With Helix, better sleep starts now.
We were talking about this earlier where you said, like, is it irresponsible to be on tour and be a parent? And I think the most responsible thing that you can be to your child is a happy parent. And if you're happy doing what you're doing,
Ooh.
you know?
Then I was a great parent.
Right.
I'm the happiest person. I've always been happy. I've always been exceptionally happy.
I mean, that like, to me, it's like, that's what I remember. Like, it doesn't matter what field you're in. You could be a doctor, you could be a truck driver, you could be whatever the fuck you are. But if you are coming home with no baggage of work and you're feeling fulfilled by work, you are then making the home a good place. You may be away for a little bit longer. You may be this, but when you're home, you're in good spirits. And I feel like that's what the kids are going to remember. That's the time. They're not going to remember, oh, you were gone on a weekend. They don't, it doesn't make my kids, we went to fucking like Mexico one time. Like, you guys remember we went to Mexico? No. Or, Grand Canyon. No, it's too young. They're gone. It's like, you think they're going to remember that I didn't leave the house for 2 weeks? They don't give a shit. Like, now they remember more stuff, but what they remember is not like you weren't there unless it was something major, but it's like, they remember like we were together. We did do this. And if you can afford, like we went on our first tour, we went on our first European tour. I never went to Europe with the podcast. I went to Europe and it was so amazing to go and do shows, and I got to bring the kids along. And I'm like, holy shit, this is like the best thing in the world to be able to like go do shows at night, but hang out with my kids during the day. And like, I don't know. It was like, that to me is, I mean, look, we're in rare air, obviously, but it's also like happy with them doing something cool. I mean, that's great. That's all you can ask for.
I have a hard time if we go on vacations not booking a show because I go, it could pay for the vacation.
Right. Just it'd be done.
Yeah.
Just it's going to be like an hour, 2 hours. It'd be fine. You'll be in and out. It. Like, I'm the same way though. I'm like the same way. I'm like, well, I just got to do this one thing. Let's just go do over here. Let's just like make this thing. It's like, my wife's, no, we're not doing anything. Like we got asked to do the Nantucket Film Festival. And that's a whole thing, and we're psyched to do it. It was like, and more fun because they were like, oh, they're like, I don't even think we're getting paid. They're just like, we'll put you up at like a really nice house and we'll do this. It's like, this would be the fucking best. Go to Nantucket, like amazing.
Yeah.
But I'm like, if we're going to go to Nantucket, we could do Boston the weekend before. And then if at the end, we just go right to New York. And it's like, and then
you're talking to my brain right now.
And I'm like, and it just pays for everything. And then we can actually have a really relaxed time and we just bookend it. It's like, my wife's like, no, go to Nantucket. That's what we're doing. We're just going to visit family before then. And I go, yeah, we can visit family. We go on Friday, visit family, do Saturday, Sunday. And fucking go.
Oh, I would take the girls to Tampa. My parents are in Tampa, and we go to the beach in Clearwater, and I would go in and do morning radio every morning. So I was like, well, yeah, you never know when I'll be back, and I should, keep it in.
Keep it going.
Know. I wonder what kind of different. Do you ever think what job you would have taken if you didn't do this?
Yeah, and I think it is lame, but I'll tell you what it is. Like I always felt like. And maybe not now, but like when I was a kid, like politics just seemed interesting. Like you're in the mix and you're just like, I don't like, I'm not like, I want to make but I just love that energy. Like I feel like I grew up in New York. So I'm like, I want it to be like just moving around. Like, and I felt like it's about talking to people, meeting people, going off and doing things. And maybe that's the more idealized version of it. But I just love that idea of like war rooms and campaign trail. Like, I mean, it's just touring. It's just touring.
It's touring.
But it's like, but it is. It's like, let's go. All right,
we're doing stand up. You never bomb.
Yeah, right. It's
you
like,
just go up and all you got to say is the buzzwords. We're going to cut taxes.
And like, but like that idea of like having a ground teams and stuff. I don't know why that was, but it just like felt like, that like, just running around. Like I remember seeing that documentary, like James Carville, like with the Clinton thing. I was like, the war room or whatever it was. I was like, I want to be there. I want to just seems fun.
Yeah.
To like kind of game that.
I'm not smart enough for politics.
I mean, I don't think I'm smart enough either. I just like, but I do like that the energy around it. What would you do?
Who were we with last night? I would have been a boat salesman. That would have been a great job for me. Like a boat salesman, sell like off-road vehicles, not cars. I wouldn't have been a car salesman.
Like ATVs.
But it's like if I could sell you like, I think I'm brand adjacent, meaning like where my interests lie is in extracurriculars and like and leisure.
Okay.
So I think that's why I would have made a good boat salesman, because I think I embody the like, yo, take time, like have fun.
Yeah, get this.
And like, I'm not a car salesman because I don't know how to upsell you. And like, we just got Leanne a new car, and I watched my car guy. Like he did. I'm so bad when I buy a car.
Me too.
And this guy came in, and he was like, like he just was so good. He said all the stuff I would have never said on the phone to get us a better deal in the car. I just would have been like, oh, I like this. And he just was slick.
I have a friend from Boston, and she was, when you went to go buy a car, you brought her, and she would just go in there and make people like lose their mind. Just work them. It was like
good.
And I'm like, I can't do that. But I just saw, when we were in Scotland on tour, we were in this hotel, and I saw a boat salesman literally come up to a table and be like, hey, champagne's on me. You bought a boat. Thank you, guys. And it was like he just sold the boat, and he gave him like the deed, and like buying him a bottle of champagne. He's like, you're gonna have so much fun on this boat. I was like, and I literally said to my wife, I was like, that's the life, man. The boat salesman, just like selling this fucking boat, buying it, and it's like, and everyone leaves happy. It's like this boat's gonna change our lives.
I gotta buy a boat.
I gotta get on a boat.
I would love to buy a boat.
But it's like Rob Riggle, his family lives on Lake of the Ozarks in Kansas City, and we went out there, and it was like, that's what you need. You need to have access to that boat. Like you have to be like, I'm walking down walk out my back door, get on my boat.
Yeah.
But like we hung out there for a week. That was a life of leisure. Take the boat out, laying out there.
I get texts from Rogan a lot, like just random. Bert, I'm in my backyard. Look at my boat. You know this is your life. What the fuck are you doing in LA? Get on the goddamn boat. And he had sent me one video, and someone's like, I think someone yelled, what's up, Joe? He's like, how you doing? He's like, this is fucking Austin, Bert. Move the fuck out here. And I see that. I show it to Leanne. I go, look what you're doing to me. That could be my life. I would be.
Boat culture is the best. People wave at you. You're having a good time.
Oh.
Life is good on the boat. Jamie Foxx, whatever he had, that stroke or whatever, the first time he came back in public, put him on a boat. We didn't even question anything. We're just like, oh man, he's on a fucking boat.
The most angry I've ever been at Andrew Schultz is when he moved to Tampa and he would rent boats. I go, you don't rent a fucking boat.
No,
you don't rent it. You got to buy it, Andrew. And I was like, during the pandemic, and I would watch his videos and go like DM him, be like, buddy, or text him, buddy, what? Florida, being in Florida, having a boat, I would have been. Every day I would get off work. I would go get on my boat with 6-pack of beers and ride until the sunset, come home dark, catch some fish. That would be a fucking life.
That idea of just having I have like a pontoon boat, even a simple one. I
would have gotten a pontoon boat.
Those are the fucking best. It's like, it is. It's like it's like a patio that's just sailing around. Because I have a bunch of beers back there, and it's like and who cares? You're off land. Like that's the best thing. It's like. That, you're talking about Lost at Sea. That's now I'm kind of like into this idea of Lost at Sea, because it is a great idea. Where you're
I was going to Leanne said no, but I was gonna sail from LA to Hawaii.
Whoa, that seems intense.
It's 18 days. It's pretty intense. But I wanted to be afraid. I'd like to be afraid. There's a thing called what is it? Fear of the open ocean. I got the exact opposite.
Okay.
I got whatever the phobia is. I got the philia.
Okay, got it.
I like the idea.
Just being out there.
Of nothing. I like the idea of waiting to.
This is what I'm talking about. The solitary confinement. It's like
yes.
That's it. You're there. It's kind of amazing.
Oh, it's so fucking. I would love that. I love water. Water's really like every morning I get my pool and I swim in my pool, and no matter what mood I'm in, by the time I get down to the deep end, I am grounded. I'm centered, and I'm grateful. And I hold on to my diving board. I still have a diving board. That's
I love it.
Yeah, we go off the dive. Leanne's fucking badass on the diving board. And I'll hold on to the diving board in the deep end. I look at my house and I go, everything, you're alive, you're breathing, you're here. Everything's perfect. Everything's perfect.
I've been, for the last year and a half, I've been doing cold plunges. And I love it. I love it because there's something really awesome about in this world that's so kind of crazy. I get in there, it's meditative in a way, and it's like, I'm like, for 5 minutes or 6 minutes, whatever it is, I'm just there and I'm existing in this moment. And And I feel like we don't take those moments sometimes enough. And I'm like, and that sets my day better than a cup of coffee, better than a workout or anything. That's like, I'm like, it grounds me for a second. It's like, I'm here, let's go. Let's now get out and I'll have frozen fingertips for the rest of the day. But besides that, I feel so good afterwards.
I love it's not happening lately, but getting out of the cold plunge and sitting in the sun and letting the sun warm you. I don't know.
This is like, we're recreational people. We should be living in a place where there's enough water. Like you want a big lake. Like Ozarks kind of seems like, I mean, I guess Austin's
Ozarks is pretty fucking awesome.
Yeah.
Ozarks pretty awesome. Minnesota is.
Oh yeah. The winters are fucking brutal there.
Yeah, but the summers are fucking spectacular.
See.
The ground's soft. The ground's so soft. I know a dude in Minnesota whose chute didn't open. Skydiving, and he didn't die because that's how soft the ground in Minnesota is.
What?
I know that. And by the way, I'm punching that story up a lot. Like, there's got to be other things that happen, but my takeaway was
I'm in it. You said it, and I'm like, I buy it. And it's soft land. I
like when we just did this 5K out at the Rose Bowl for me and Tom, and I was looking at the people that had their shoes off barefoot in the grass and going, that would be a real quick way to thin the herd of who I want to be around. Like anyone barefoot in the grass, like every time I'm in grass, I'm barefoot. I can't wear shoes in grass.
I have a friend who is like, if you can do it every day, take off your shoes, take off your socks, and just get like, not in, your house is great, but like in the world, just like walk. And it's like, and I've done that like a handful, like, because it's hard to remember. Oh yeah, shit. But I do like when I walk my dog. I'm like, I'm gonna walk my dog this morning.
What kind of dog do you have?
I got like this pit mix. He's brand new. Like the last kind of, we adopted him like 3 months ago, and he's the best. His name is Bingo, and we love him. But it's a great, like, especially at night. I'll take him out. It's quiet. No one's out there. Got to watch out for coyotes. But besides that, like, I just like have my shoes off, walk on the street, and there's something really interesting. Even like I walk across my street, just walking on like, what is it? Like not tarmac. It's like the street, asphalt. And like, it's like, oh, just feel it. It sounds so stupid, but it's like, it's interesting. It does. I think it grounds you, puts you in a world where you're like, all right, I'm here.
There's certain smells that ground me. Like I was in Florida recently, and it started raining, and it was in the middle of the day, and I was like, I haven't smelled this in a while. That smell in Florida, only Florida kids know it, but there's a hot smell that comes out when it rains in the middle of the afternoon.
I know, because the only place my parents vacationed when I was a kid, I'm a New Yorker kid. We grew up in Long Island. The only place we vacationed for literally 14 years straight, Disney World. It was like, we're going to Disney World. We're going to Disney World. And then back then it was cheap. It was easy. It was like, you get a $70 flight, you go to Disney World. Like, and every time we went, it was rain, but it was like that moment after where it's like hard rain, then and then like if you were wearing like a rain jacket, like the way the heat and the humidity comes up. I know that smell. I love that. Like it's like
God. So wait, what you like collecting stuff, right?
Yeah.
So like I've never been able to collect stuff. I collect hats, but I don't.
Yeah.
I like hats. So
I don't collect shit in I don't collect shit in like a way where it's like, oh, I have like a bunch of Fabergé eggs or something like that, or it sounds weird, but like I collect mementos from my own life. Like, so there was this moment, I was in New Orleans. We were there for the Super Bowl with the league. And we're just hanging out, going to bars, having a good time. Best place to have the Super Bowl, by the way, in New Orleans.
Yeah.
Like you can walk in, walk out. I'm only for a Super Bowl in walking places. And we went to this, like this bar, very simple bar, and Channing Tatum was there. And this is like, like 21 Jump Street Channing Tatum, so early on.
Yeah.
And he just started doing a dance off with this girl. And it was fucking amazing. It was like watching Step Up.
He's
like,
a really good dancer.
It was fucking the coolest thing I've ever seen. And
sidebar, he grew up in Tampa.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
And he and like in that melee, like somebody tossed me these like beads. And I'm like, and I fucking held onto those beads. And I'm like, and that will always remind me of that night, those beads, that thing. So it's like I have like collections of like weird shit like that. Like, oh, my first concert, I have that. I have like name tags, or like it's very like, I think if you were to look through the shit I have, you're like, oh, this is all right. This is like just the breasts on like a Mardi Gras necklace. But it doesn't have like that much meaning. Like, but like when I went to go see Martin Lawrence live at Radio City Music Hall, like I have that fucking playbill, which is just like You So Crazy tour. And I went to go see George Carlin, and you could buy in the lobby his like incomplete list of 3,000 dirty words. And I was like, it's like, it brings me to this moment, and it kind of pulls me back in. It's like that. And I know it's So I have these boxes just full of like life mementos that like make me happy, and then like I'm a huge Clippers fan. So I also, whenever I see a Clippers bobblehead, I'll get it. And I have a bunch of those, but that's like the most like official collecting I do, it's like, but I just like to, you do a gig, a pen, a thing, something that just reminds me of that. Yeah. I don't know. Like,
I used to buy knives when I was on Travel Channel. I'd buy a knife everywhere I went.
Oh, you see,
and so then now I have so many fucking knives.
Like, how do you display them? I don't know. Like,
I will even, now I don't even remember where I got some of them. So I'm like,
well, when I walked in here, you got me excited because I saw you have a wall of like baseball caps. As a bald man, I have an affinity to a baseball cap. But I also was like, ooh, that's cool. Like, I want to do, like, I love that.
I have a crazy amount of hats. Like, I'd say upwards to about 3,000 hats.
It's the best. I love a hat. I love a hat. Hat and hoodies.
I don't even know which one I'm wearing right now.
Yeah, the OSOS.
That's our vodka.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Wait. So I saw, I saw LeBron wearing a hat like that. Am I wrong in that? Maybe. Okay.
I wish you did.
All right. Okay.
Considering I think I have the only one. No, these are fitted. So I only wear fitted hats. So, but we have hats.
What size is your head?
8.
Okay. 7 3/4.
Oh yeah, I have a massive fucking head. But no, we made these for our vodka, and I have the only fitted hats. I'd have them like specially made because I'm weird about hats.
Okay. What is the thing that you like about a hat?
I have a big head, so it's got to be an 8. You can't get 8s anywhere.
Yeah,
I can't be anything that starts a conversation. So I can't wear like team hats.
You and I are the same. All right, I tell you. So I got a bunch of Clippers hats because I love the Clippers.
Yeah,
I refuse to wear that hat outside of LA because I'm like, it's going to start a conversation I don't want to have. I don't want to associate myself with LA. I want to be quiet. So I went to go visit my sister-in-law. She lives in Maine. We went to go see like a minor league baseball thing. They had this Portland Sea Dogs, this minor league team.
I know.
All right. And I was like, oh, first of all, I love this fucking mascot.
Yeah.
I love this hat. Buy this hat. I wear this hat. No one's going to talk to me about anything.
Yeah.
Wherever I go, that hat fucking starts up a conversation. It's so crazy. I'm like, this is my anonymous hat. Like I have like hats where I'm like, I don't want anyone to be like, fucking the Brewers.
I won't wear a team's hat anymore because especially in LA, the only hats you'd ever be able to get with a size 8 head is in big cities, New York, Boston, and so people, or San Francisco hat, and then everyone's a transplant here, so they'd be like, "Hey, you see the game today?" And I'm like, "I just have a big head." Yeah, that's the thing. Because the same thing. I'm like, I don't really follow the Cardinals. I just like this red hat. Like again, as a bald man, I need hats. I got to wear a hat all the time. Like so I'm like sometimes I'm on so my wife and I were in Boston. I was like, as a New Yorker, I can't wear a Boston hat. There's something about like I'm broken. I can't do it. I like Boston. Boston's great. No offense to Boston. I just can't wear a Boston hat. I was like, so my wife's like, just get a Boston hat. I'm like, no. I was like, I made her go to like a Lids and I got a Toronto Blue Jays hat because like no one will talk to me about Toronto Blue Jays. I was like, I can get this. That's the only thing. I was like, it was like, but it's you walk into a danger zone all the time. I have my anonymous hat. Yeah, I have. I'm part of a group of people that are hat guys. And so like what I wish I had one that I could show you, but like some hats, not these, like this hat probably right there is people make them. Okay. And they're designers and they'll design it and they'll put it up on a website and people will vote on whether or not they like that hat or they'll purchase that. And if enough purchases comes out, then they'll make the hat. A place called the Clink Room. And so you get really cool, and you get like I like people that are artists. So I follow a bunch of designers, but a lot of the hats I have are just in minor leagues. Sometimes we'll go like, "Yo, I like that hat. We're gonna take it," and then these kids make money. That's awesome. Yeah, I think it's cool. But yeah, I don't. I was wondering. I was like working out today. I was like, I was going. I wonder what movies we have in common because like you really have seen almost everything, and you've seen almost everything that's bad. Oh, I've had this get made. We basically just like celebrate bad movies because I think like for me, the thing that's the most fun about a movie is like going out after the movie and like hanging out with your friends. Like I would go to we'd go see a movie, go to Denny's and like just fucking sit there and just talk about it. And it was a good movie. We do it too, but it's like, it was like, we just go there and sit. Like every weekend was
Movies. I worked in a video store, movies. So I've
You worked at Blockbuster.
Oh yeah, man.
Not just a video store.
It was the best.
Blockbuster
I'll tell you, Blockbuster was that one thing that connected me to Hollywood, because I was like, oh, I want to be an actor, right?
Yeah.
But you say that, and I'm like, I don't know what to do. I just want to be on Different Strokes. I want to be on, I want to be on these things. I don't know. I don't even know if I want to be an actor as much as I just want to be hanging out with Gary Coleman, right? And
by the way, have you ever hung out with him?
No, but
it's not going to happen now. But I did. It was not enjoyable.
Yeah, it seems it seems a little rough,
tedious.
Yeah. And so so when Blockbuster opened in my town, they had the kids from Honey, I Shrunk the Kids signing autographs in the Blockbuster, and it was it was the opening of the Blockbuster. And I was like, holy shit! This is Hollywood. I need to whatever I need to do. I need to get in here, because this is one step away from this world that I want to be in. Little did I know, it was many, many steps away. And so, yeah, when I got there, but there was something so fun about that video store culture, because I was a kid, but you had power. You fucking carried those videotapes back to the shelves. What do you got? Hey, get back off, guys, back off. You're like a security guard for you're like, hey, I'll put these back. I'll put these on the shelf. It's and you could hold it. If you want to, I'm terrible at flirting, but I would flirt with girls. I'd be like, I got Son-in-Law in the back, the Pauly Shore movie. You want to see that? Give it to him. I hold it for you. Never. June, my wife was always joking, because well, what's the end of that? I was like, oh, I give them the video, and then they would be like, and in their mind, they're like, that guy's so nice. Maybe I should go out with that. It was never forward. It was never I never passed the number, nor did I, I just was trying to, flirt. So much so that I saw this one girl who I thought was so cute. And she looked a little bit like Jamie Gertz from Lost Boys. And Jamie Gertz is oh my gosh. And I was like, you know what? We should do a signing at the store. And everyone's like, yeah, we should. I said, but there's no one famous that comes in here. I was like, we can say that girl's Jamie Gertz. We have to do a fake signing. Oh, yeah. And I was like, told my friend Kelly, I was like, Kelly, can you reach out to your friend and see if she'll come in and pretend to be Jamie Gertz? And she's like, okay, weird. Sure. And she asked her, and the girl's like, no. I was like, okay, don't worry about it, guys. We'll still do it. So we waited until she came into the store, and we made a big deal. Oh my gosh, can't believe Jamie Gertz is here. Oh, wow, we got to get her to sign something. And we didn't have any Jamie Gertz posters. She's not in any movies at that point. So I just pulled a Phoebe Cates poster out, and we had her we were like, oh, Jamie, can you sign this for us? And she signed a Phoebe Cates poster, fake Jamie Gertz, and then we hung that in the Blockbuster window. And again, that was my great. That's my flirt. I thought she'd be like, oh my gosh, this guy's so funny. He made me pretend to be.
I need to be around this guy more. By the way, Phoebe Cates still fucking hot.
Oh my gosh,
still fucking
and
hot.
Jamie Gertz too.
Jamie Gertz. Yeah. That's one of my biggest, the biggest bummer I look at is all these huge, or almost actresses that didn't get opportunities because there was a weird sexism of we'll build movies around men back then, and then we'll put in Sean. What's Sean from?
Sean Penn or no? Sean Young, right?
Sean Young. Yeah, Sean Young.
You remember Fletch? Gina Davis is just on the outskirts of that. Yeah. She's like, hey, Fletch, and those 80s movies, they just rotate those women in and out.
Have you ever listened to a podcast called Confused Breakfast?
No.
They're because I love what you do. I love movies, but I'm not, I was never the guy that Hollywood makes movies for me.
Right.
My intelligence level.
But me too. That's I would much rather have Fast and Furious than a Maestro. No offense to Maestro.
I just got the genius of Fast and Furious. I didn't understand the genius of it. When we were in Serbia, we went and watched Fast and Furious 8.
Yeah, sure. Well, 9, yeah.
The one where they went to space.
Oh, dude, the space one. That is 9, I believe. Yeah.
They go to space in wetsuits.
Dude.
And a Fiara.
And they're up there and they're using the reverse, they're reversing in space. It's the best. Come on. How could you not love that?
I decided that's what I want my career to be. Dude. I was like, I just want to do the same movie 10 times. It's like summer camp. Everyone shows up to make the movie. Yeah. Michelle Rodriguez. Hey, what's up? How you doing?
Yeah.
Hey, Vin Diesel. Shut up. Jason Statham's in this one.
And it's a party. It's a good party. And you're barely there for it because they're doing a lot of stunt driving when you're not there. So
that franchise, I did not understand how precious it is to America until I saw that because I said to the people I was with, my cousin Andrew is like, he's like you, really fucking smart. Like when I have an idea, when I want to figure something out, like I'll kind of run it by Andrew, and he just is he's really, and he knows movies really well. And then and I went and saw it with him, and then our producer Kale, and I said, do I need to have seen the other Fast and Furious? And they're like, no.
It's the best. You can watch them in any order you want.
You can watch them in any order. And then I was like, but why? Like, why do people like this? And they're like, hold on. Kale's like, this is movie making. This is, you gotta understand, this is like huge. And
it's I stood up in the theater on 10. I was like, fuck yeah. Like, we did it. We did it.
It's the fucking greatest. And then you start going, yeah, they don't do that anymore. There's not like a Rambo. Like they now there's a Rambo, but like back when I was a child, it was like Rocky IV. Rocky IV was the best Rocky in my opinion.
Oh, it was basically just a music video, and it was the best. It was just like music video after music video. It was like montage. The fucking best. I love Rocky IV.
I love, man, I remember getting up. I was in high school when Rocky IV came out, and I remember we were standing up in the thing, in the last fight scene, doing it with each other, like just going like, yeah.
This is like Superman 2, Rocky IV. I remember being so upset at Rocky V. I was like,
which one's 5?
The one where his like son, he gets beat up in the street with the brain damage. I'm like, no, this is not it. We want to be we want this. We want big crazy. Like we don't. And I feel like that's the thing. It's like this reboot thing where they just like make it serious. I'm like, no, let's get. I actually like the Creed movies a lot too. I thought the Creed movies.
I've been seeing the Creed movies.
Dude, the funniest story I ever heard was so Bob Dylan, obviously, like I guess had seen a Creed movie, and who knows, and he never talks in his concerts. And so my friend was saying that he saw him in concert, and he's playing his songs, and then he stops and goes, "Y'all see Creed?" And the audience is like, "Huh?" He's like, yeah, Creed movie is a good movie, boxing movie. It's good fights. I really like that Creed. Then got back and playing. It's like the only time he's ever talked is to talk about Creed. And it was like, this happened last year. So Creed has been out. Creed 2 has been out. And he's just got to share it so that he likes Creed.
I am the intelligence they make movies for. So like this podcast, Confused Breakfast.
Yeah.
They're a little deeper. Like they have theories.
Okay.
One of their theories is that Kiefer Sutherland from Stand By Me is the same character in Lost Boys.
Oh, I may have seen some of their stuff on TikTok. Yes, TikTok, because they have like, I think they also broke that theory that like Goonies happens on the same day as Back to the Future.
Yeah.
Like it's on the same, so it's like there's like a little connection there. But they always have these like, well, this person actually left and like, wait, what is it? Like that James Bond was caught on a mission and he was put in jail, and that's the character from The Rock.
Yeah.
It's actually.
The one I did with them that I still go like, it might be my favorite breakdown of a movie was, everyone was celebrating Cobra Kai.
Yeah.
And they were like, there should be a Cobra Kai for Caddyshack because in essence, Judge Smales is the hero.
Yes, right.
He's just a guy who's just
right. We just villainize these people.
And technically everyone's bad. Except for he's just like, hey man, it's a country club. There's rules here.
Right. We just follow the rules. And then all of a sudden you got your crazy gardener who's like blowing up the entire course. You got this guy like just fucking around.
You got this caddy fucking his niece and seeing his wife naked and fucking, he trusted Danny.
Right,
he trusted Danny.
He was I always loved that idea of like the Rosencrantz and Guildenstern are dead. Like I just want to see that other side. It's like, it's true. It's like the people who do nothing wrong, but those 80s movies always did it. It's like, you're the villain. And it's like, are you? It's not that bad.
That's what I loved about Wet Hot American Summer was they kind of did an homage to Meatballs. And it was, hey, what did you think of it? Did you see the Pop-Tarts movie?
I haven't seen it yet.
I have a weird thing, and I want to talk about this in therapy, but I can't, when movies are, I don't know the right word for it. Willy Wonka did it. Like we're like, some movies, it's almost like it's a fantasy reality where like big colors and big.
Yes, I understand what you think. Like I see the look of it. Yeah. And it looks like kind of fakey.
Hair is always a little. Like I had a hard time with some, not Ed, who's
Tim Burton, right?
Tim Burton
yeah, because
movies.
it looks like pop art or something like that. It's very stylized, and it's like you're buying into this like kind of fake world. And it's like,
it's a really funny movie. Pop-Tarts is a really
I heard
funny,
it's like joke per minute. It's like there's like a ton.
It's fucking really, and everyone kind of kills it. But I realized something about myself is I want the minutia. I almost wanted the real story.
I mean, I like that kind of stuff. Like, is that really happening? Like, is that a real story? I mean, I know it's based on a thing, but yeah, I do too. I love all that.
Well, it's a real story.
Right.
They glazed over it. It's a really fascinating story about corporate espionage and fucking and breakfast cereals and Post and whatchamacallit, going head to head. They had these things called country squares.
Okay.
And I think Post put them out first and was so braggadocious. They put an article. We're coming this fall we're revolutionizing breakfast. And then the other team, Jerry Seinfeld's team, was like, yo, we got to beat them to the punch. So they created Pop-Tarts. And the whole problem was, how do you make a filling that any pastry filling is going to inflate? Right. So they came up with the holes in the top. So Pop-Tarts beat them to the punch. They go out a month early. They sell out so quickly that they've got to. And what's the most fascinating part, which I don't know if they say it in the movie, I can't remember, but do you know why they call them Pop-Tarts?
No.
So they didn't have a name. And at the time, Andy Warhol was really big with pop art.
Oh my God.
I find that shit fucking fascinating.
No, I mean, that's what I love. Like, I wanted to do this like series on rivalries, because I think rivalries are really interesting, because it brings out like, it's like, do you see the movie Blackberry?
It's so good.
It's so good, right? Like that's the kind of shit that I'm like, so because it's like, oh, right, like what's going on here? Like this little thing. And it's like, that's like, I'm just fascinated by like, they're clearly in competition, like McDonald's and Burger King, how they kind of went head to head, or, it's like that kind of stuff. It's so small, and we're seeing the winner ultimately. Yeah. I mean, I remember when I was a kid, I was like playing miniature golf, and there would be like the Coke and Pepsi stands, like, like the taste test, the Coke taste test. It's like, even that is like a giant fuck you to be like, we'll have both there. And we're so confident in ours that you'll go away and be like, yeah, Pepsi sucks. Like, we're going to put it literally, like, we'll make you taste it and you'll tell us ours is better. Right?
I find that so fascinating. The Beanie Babies movie with Zach.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know why. that stuff. I think I'm really obsessed with podcasts.
I know. I think that podcasts are these places where you can find it. Like, because it's like you can go deeper. There's like, I think a podcast I listened to about McDonald's monopoly money a while, like, because it's like you get those squares and like how that's all printed out. Like, it's so hard to get like Boardwalk and Park Place or whatever it is, you know, like, and that kind of like, these people who tried to game the system, they try to basically cheat.
Oh, I saw that.
Right? It was
he wanted a jet. He was going to get a jet.
Yeah. Like, so it's like that kind of stuff is like, because that was like the thing that you like, you never really like, as a kid, I was like, just rip it off. I'm like, oh, I got free French fries. I'm so psyched, But there were people out there that had that board. They were ready to go and trying to find their thing. Rob Riggle, he used to work at Marlboro, and we would do stuff with him because he would do the Marlboro catalog. Like, it was like, I don't remember if you remember this, but when you smoked a pack of cigarettes, you could rip off the barcode. And if you saved up enough barcodes, you could get like a kayak, or you get a leather jacket or
Copenhagen
whatever.
Did that.
Yeah. Okay. So, and it was like, and we got to do these like fun things that were like additional features for it. Like, I remember we did like an audio adventure where we were whispering in people's ears, and then it would go in the other ear and then go over. And it was like, but I just love like that kind of corporate, like, contest culture, all that sort of stuff is amazing.
I find it fascinating. I love the late night wars with oh my gosh, Letterman was like fucking.
That was when I watched that show, like as a kid, that blew my mind. I was like, this is crazy.
I love the, like, I so badly wanted it happened to me, and it wasn't quite as enjoyable, that middle of the night phone call from agents that are leaving, because that was like that behind the scenes shit. And then when it happens, you're like, oh, this isn't.
No, I'm
not a person that likes making decisions.
Can I tell you the funniest agent phone call I had? I go, I'm in Hawaii, and I'm like, this is years ago, before the league or anything. And it was like, hey, we got this. And it was a big agent, like an agent that you would know the name of. Like, it wasn't my agent, but like you knew his name. It was like one of those power agents. Like, Paul, we have so-and-so calling for you. And I was like, oh shit. I was like, and I'm like, yeah, sure. And I get on the phone. And he's like, hey, man, what's up? I got to talk to you. And I'm just going to make up two names here because I don't want to. He's like, I'm going to tell you, Stacey Snider, forget her. She's nothing. She's got nothing. I have the best new person, Tracy Robinson. Tracy Robinson's the best. You can't hire Stacey. Tracy is the future. Now, yeah, I represent Tracy, but I'm gonna tell you this much. She's gonna give you this. I'll cut her rate. I'll do it. And I'm just sitting here. I'm like, I don't understand what this phone call is. And I go, I'm sorry. I'm a little confused. This is I'm Paul Scheer. And he goes, oh, I thought you were Paul Scheer, their casting director. He's like, all right. Anyway, what's up, man? How you doing? You good? All right, cool. He's segued so quickly. Like he represented both of those actresses, was selling one out and lifting up the other one, saying that she would work for less money, do all this stuff. And I'm like hearing him just sell, like it was the worst thing. And then when I said it, when he realized it was me, not even a moment changed. Like, oh, dude, what's up? All right, well, we got to hang out. I'll see you in LA, right? All right, cool, man. I'll see you soon. Like,
do you know the story? This is, by the way, I want to keep this in, but I also am really good friends with the guy, and it may not be true.
Okay,
but it's like Hollywood folklore.
Okay,
of Dane Cook doing the movie with Dennis Rodman.
No, I need to hear this.
So, and by the way, Dane, 100%. I'll have you on the podcast. You can tell your side of it. So the rumor was they get this movie. What was the name of that movie? Dennis Rodman and Dane Cook. Simon Says.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
Simon Says. And they call up ICM and they're like, yo, we have an offer for Dane Cook, star in this movie with Dennis Rodman. And at the time, Dane's like a young comic. He's not who he is today. And he wasn't, I don't think he had even done a movie. And they're like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
And like straight offer, shoots in Paris or shoots in France. Awesome. And he's in, they're like, yeah. And they realize they've got the wrong guy.
Oh my God.
And the guy they're reaching out about isn't even at their agency. So they push through the paperwork, sign the deal. They realize, oh shit, we wanted the other guy. And they're like, Dane Cook's in this fucking movie.
Whoa.
And Dane Cook starred in Simon Says.
Holy shit.
I wonder if I can call Dane and ask him if that's true.
That is wild. Holy shit. I
wonder, I want to just leave it in. I'm weird with Dane because I never want to say anything bad about Dane.
But that's not bad. That's not bad about Dane. That's an agency.
And then that may be just folklore that Dane's like, that's not actually how it happened. But I auditioned, I read a bunch of times.
But you know what? Honestly, if you did Dane, it's better to say that that's how it happened because he was the star of movies later anyway. It's not like, it's like, it's great. It's a great, it's so funny. Like you catch these agents in these moments where it's like, we were trying to cast something or looking for a director and they're like, what about this person? They said their name. I was like, that person's dead. And they were like, oh, right. Yeah, of course. All right. And I was like, wow. I was like, what are you trying? It was, and they represented him. They represented this guy. How many people did they say that to before I called him out and said, he's dead? The man is dead.
This show is sponsored by BetterHelp. Look, we all carry around different stressors, big and small, and when we keep them all bottled up, they can start to affect us negatively. Therapy is a safe space to get those things off your chest and to figure out how to work through whatever's weighing you down. I wake up with those thoughts. Like often it's the first thought in my head is the little stressors, and they add up. And so what I do is I write them down and I talk about them in therapy. I do online therapy. It's the easiest for me because I feel like it's not infringing on my life. I feel like it's adding to my life. It's not another thing on the list of things weighing me down, things on my plate. Listen, if you're thinking about starting therapy, give BetterHelp a try. It's entirely online, designed to be convenient, flexible, and suited to your schedule. Just fill out a brief questionnaire to get matched with a licensed therapist, and you can switch therapists at any time for no additional charge. Get it off your chest with BetterHelp. Visit BetterHelp.com/Bert today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/Bert. Summer requires extraordinary hydration that's built for everyday dehydrating moments. Liquid IV hydrates you with benefits like electrolytes, essential vitamins, and clinically tested nutrients, with 3 times the electrolytes of the leading sports drink, plus 8 vitamins and nutrients in a single stick. It's clear why Liquid IV is the #1 powdered hydration brand in America. Their sugar-free flavors include white peach, green grape, raspberry melon, and lemon lime, my personal favorite. Liquid IV makes it easy to stay hydrated while traveling because you have 3 times the electrolytes of the leading sports drink. I dump one of those sticks in one of these bad boys every single day. I'm so attached to my hydration. Every night before I go to bed, I drink a sugar-free Liquid IV. No sugar. I sleep perfectly. And I wake up hydrated. Blood pressure's low. For me, my heart rate's low. When I wake up, it is my go-to, especially on the road. And I'm leaving for Austin tonight. I have my backpack filled with Liquid IV. Turn your ordinary water into extraordinary hydration with Liquid IV. Get 20% off your first order of Liquid IV when you go to liquidiv.com and use code BERT at checkout. That's 20% off your first order when you shop Better Hydration today using promo code BERT at liquidiv.com. What's the most valuable thing in the world? Time. Managing and worrying about your body odor used to take up a lot of my time. I was paranoid about smelling, especially around midday, and it was all extremely time consuming, but not anymore. Since I switched to Mando whole body deodorant, I've freed up so much time. Mando doesn't cover up odor after the fact with heavy fragrances like certain other deodorants. It stops odor at the source by blocking the bacteria on your skin from eating your sweat, which is actually the cause of BO. What does this mean? It means that Mando is clinically proven to control odor for up to 72 hours. That's a long time. So give yourself the precious gift of time and get yourself some Mando whole body deodorant. Special offer right now for our listeners, new customers, get $5 off Mando's best-selling starter pack with the promo code Bertcast at shopmando.com. Trust me, if you're like me and you are all on the run nonstop, going from meeting to workout to dinners, and you are just busy, this is your go-to. Stop the smell before it happens. The best thing is my wife Leanne keeps their deodorant wipes in her purse, and man, I use them way more than she does. Mando's starter pack is perfect for new customers. It comes with a solid stick deodorant, cream tube deodorant, 2 free products of your choice like mini body washes and the deodorant wipes, which is what we use, and free shipping. Luckily, I have a discount code to help you get hooked on my favorite smelling whole body deodorant on the market. New customers get $5 off a starter pack with our exclusive code. That equates to over 40% off your starter pack. Use code Bertcast at shopmando.com. That's shopmando.com. I want to talk about your stepfather. You write about it in your book.
Yeah.
Your stepfather was verbally abusive.
No, like physically abusive.
Oh, for real?
Yeah. Like my mom got married to this guy, commercial truck driver for like a supermarket chain. And he was not a big dude, but he was like an imposing dude. Like he looked like a dude who was always kind of hungover, had a knife on his belt, like that one of those guys, you know. And and it was an interesting thing because my mom and dad got divorced. Now we're living with this guy, and it's so interesting when you're a kid, you don't understand the courtship. It was like all of a sudden my mom and I are living together, and then all of a sudden here's a guy living in, and they're getting married, and like all of a sudden it's like we got a dad, and it was like, you call me dad, and I was like, no, like I knew that was off. Like my dad is involved in my life, and this stepdad was like it felt weird, and he was it was the first time I realized something was up. He was mad. And he wouldn't talk to me for like 2 weeks, wouldn't talk to me. And then like one day I went outside in my pajamas and it was like winter and snowing. And he just locked the door and he wouldn't let me back in the house and until I called him dad. Right. And it was like, and I'm looking back on this now as an adult. I'm like, oh shit, that was like the moment I realized I can't fuck with this guy. Because the minute I said, dad, let me in, door open, like nothing ever happened.
Jesus.
And then we had these like moments of just like, and I talk about like, it was a crazy time because you'd be playing Monopoly and you'd be like, hey, okay, you landed on Park Place, you owe me $300. And then all of a sudden he's choking me, like just straight up, how much do I owe you? How much? Like, nothing. And it's like, and I'm a kid, I'm like a 6-year-old kid, and then you let me go and he's roll the dice and all right, here we go. Next thing. Okay. You landed on Magnolia Avenue or whatever it is. And it was so commonplace And I talk about this in the book. Like I talk about it cavalierly to a certain extent because it wasn't like a special day. It wasn't like, oh my gosh, that one weekend was intense. It was like, no, it was like every day there was some element to this. And it just got worse and worse. So much so that it had heightened in so many crazy ways. But my mom created this fake trip from Field and Stream. She's like, you want a hunting trip? They want to send you to Montana to go hunting. And he was so psyched. But my mom fucking tricked him. She booked him this whole trip and she said that he won it. Sent him off to Montana. And then we got everything out of our house and we fucking escaped. But as we were escaping the house and getting out of there, he came back, kind of caught us in this driveway. And we're like having this like standoff. And it's this crazy moment. And, we're just in this intent, and it was weird. We thought he was going to freak out and he was actually really calm. And that was a weird thing. Sometimes calm, sometimes crazy, sometimes calm. And he just wanted to start taking back his furniture. He said, no, that's my furniture. He started unpacking the moving trucks, taking stuff out. Now I had guns when I was a kid. So I had like these 2 shotguns and we start running away. We were driving away and he starts screaming in the street, like blocking the car. And we're just trying to get off this dead end block that we're on. And I'm thinking to myself, like, oh my gosh, we can't get out of here. Like, we got mom, just keep on going. My mom slows down. And he's like, I want those guns back. And I like, for whatever reason, like, I didn't want to give him those guns back. And I always think of this image of like me and him, like, he's outside the car. I'm inside the car. I have a fucking shotgun. We're like wrestling with a shotgun. My mom in the middle of this kind of tug of war with a shotgun. And my mom's like, she's like, let it go. And I was like, and I let it go. And that was like the last we saw of him for quite some time. But it was like this like really kind of crazy, childhood of just, we had horses and barns. It was like very violent. And also there were moments where he was very gregarious and a nice guy too, but I think the book, for the first time, I'm kind of like talking about that part of my life. I never really talk about that part of my life. I've talked about it to a couple friends, but the majority of my friends don't know about it. And I think I was coming to terms with it as I became a dad, because I started to like wrestle with how those moments kind of bled across everything. Like, I didn't want to get married. I was afraid of this. I didn't want to have kids because I didn't want to become like him, because I did at a certain point become a super violent dude. I was a kid that was just, I'd throw down in fights all the time. And I would do things. I was used to fighting a 40-year-old man. So I'm in 6th grade and this kid comes up to me and I take his face and I start just bashing it into a car bumper in the school parking lot. And I'm like doing massive damage because I'm like, I only know how to fight a grown up. And, and so like I realized at a certain point too, I'm like, I gotta get my anger under control. I got to figure out this. I got to like, so the book is kind of like a look back through, and look, there's plenty. This is not a bummer book. I mean, I talk about meeting Christopher Walken, working at Blockbuster. Funny. It's all funny, but it's also like, but the through line is kind of like this joyful recollections of trauma, like talking about like dealing with all this stuff. And I think that sometimes when people talk about their stories or whatever, it's like, it's always dark. And my life is not dark. It's like, it like there are dark moments to it, 100%.
Yeah.
Things that are scary, things that are upsetting, but I also was living a normal life too. So it's like, I think I look back at it and I'm able to talk about it in this way it's a mix of light and dark. I don't think it's an overwhelming. It's not like, oh yeah, get ready, this book is gonna bum you out. It's like, I tried to keep on thinking about like, I want you to be entertained by reading it, but I'm also gonna talk about some real shit. And what I found in the time of talking about this book and talking to people about it is people like have been very open about their own things. And it doesn't have to be about stepfather. It could be about brother. Like someone told me about their brother just beating the shit out of them and parents not helping. And it's just like, so it's interesting to have like that dialogue with people and kind of connect with them on that.
You have a brother?
I don't. I have no, I have just me. I had a stepsister for a little bit of time, but she lived with her mom and she came and visited us for a little bit. So we had a little, but yeah, it was just me. It was just me in that house. And it was just every day after school, it was like, you didn't know what was going to go on.
It's so unfair. I never had anything like that even remotely in my life. But you did have, run-ins with unpredictable people, like an older brother of a friend.
Yeah, right, yeah.
Where you're like, I don't want to be at your house because your parents aren't going to be here.
Yeah, it's right. And it's like that's the thing. It's like you can just get freaked out. It's like the same way like you can have a one relationship that doesn't really mean that much fuck you up for multiple relationships because it's like one thing just triggered one little thing, you know. So it's like you always like that uncomfortability. Like I remember just being
feeling unsafe.
I remember like just like I'd run out of the house a lot because that was the only safety is like getting out of there, and then just trying to find a place to hang. Like I'd be like, where could I go? Like knocking on my friends' doors, you know. I'm like, hey, can I come over? And it's like, well, we're having dinner. I'm like, oh, I just want to hang for a couple hours. Is that cool? Like, you know, it's like, you know, like everything okay? I'm like, yeah, that's fine. You know,
if you run into him as an adult,
no. But before I did the book, I did like find out where he is and just kind of checked in on it for my own mental, you know, thing. And the names are changed. Still alive as of like 2 years ago, you know. And it was interesting because I kind of went. I didn't go like crazy with it, but I knew I was writing this book. I just wanted to be aware of what was going on. So I did hire like a private investigator to be like, get me this. I have a picture. I see the whole thing. I know where he lives. I got the, you know.
How crazy for him to see you succeed at the level you succeeded.
I wonder if he even knows. Truly. Like
really?
Not even that way. Because we were out of there by the time I was in 5th grade. Like there's a part of me that, and you know, maybe this is the same thing I'm telling you, like where I'm like surprised that like Lily Tomlin is returning my emails. You know, it's like, I don't even know if he knows my last name. Like, so I don't think it would even register.
Really?
Yeah. Like I mean, that's my interpretation of it. I don't think, you know, I don't know. I think too, I'm like, does this man even know or care? Right? Like, does he like I'm thinking about it like, oh, I would feel that weight.
I would feel that way because of me.
Right. But I'm like, it may not even be a thing. You know, it's like.
And sometimes people don't remember the things they've done that are bad. Like I ran into 2 dudes who beat the shit out of me pretty regularly when I was a freshman in high school. And when I was also a junior. I knew them in high school, but they were like just real. And they came out to see me do stand-up. And they were like, their recollection is like, dude, we're so glad to see you blow up. And I was like, I got scared when I saw them. I was like, hey, what's up? And they were like, what's up, dude? You're killing it, man. We're so proud of you. And I was like, and you know, they joke around. I bet all those ass beatings really got you funny. And you're like,
yeah.
This one guy beat me up because I made a joke. I got hit. I didn't grow up with like the older kids in like growing up were rough. They were like rough.
Yeah.
And so when you were funny, if you were funnier than they were, it just ended in, I mean, I'm making this sound horrible, but it wasn't this bad, but it ended in violence.
Yeah, yeah.
And so
fist fights in school were like a commonplace thing for me. I went to Catholic school. It was like
all boys Catholic high school.
Yeah, it was just like it wasn't a big deal. It was like, yeah, fights.
No
like,
one got in trouble.
Yeah.
Break it up. Break it up. Yeah.
A lot of it was slaps. A lot of it just hard slaps, and then sometimes scuffles. You know, it's like, yeah.
I got hit with a bat.
Oh, Jesus.
It's such a fucking. There's this one guy. I won't say his name, but there's this one guy. Different dude. It's such a good beat up story. Like that. We were playing baseball. Edit his name out. His name.
Okay.
And I made a joke. We were doing stretches. I made a joke, and I fucking pissed the guy off. And he like got in my face. And all my boys were on the baseball team. They all just got my back. And he was like, I'm going to fuck you up. And I was like, okay. Like, but I got 5 guys with me.
Yeah.
So we warm up. We're warming up. He gets done. He goes into the dugout. And as we're walking in, they said, you know, he gets like this. He's a heated guy. Yeah. You know what? I guarantee he's going to apologize to you. He is the team captain. He's going to come out and apologize to you. And he had a bat, and he was coming out with a bat. And I was like, and they're like, you know, he's probably going to ask you to go in the cage and throw BP to him. And I was like, yeah. And they're like, we'll give you your space. And I was like, cool. I had a ball in one hand and my glove in the other hand. And as he walked out, I was like, what's up, buddy? And he just grabs a bat and fucking clocks me.
Oh, man.
I blocked it with the glove and still hit me. I mean, I blocked it with the glove. Yeah. And then he proceeded to handily beat the shit out of me, Sean, Jimmy, Dean, and Troy, and Joe. He ragdolled us.
Whoa.
One dude beat the shit out of fucking 6 of us.
Fucking Liam Neeson style.
And I was like, motherfucker. But like, I remember the feeling where they were like, he's coming out to apologize. I was like, what's up, buddy? And he was like,
bam.
Yeah.
Oh,
getting in fist fights was like, I wonder if does that still happen these days to kids?
I don't think so. I think it's different. I think it may happen in different places, but it's like, there's a lot more, at least in the school, my kids aren't in a fancy school or anything, but it's like a lot more conversations, a lot more, it's like, there's different behavior going on. I think the shit still goes down, obviously. Like, I remember I was in a Catholic school, went to a party like at the public school, and I fucking got jumped, and some guy had like brass knuckles, or at least I assumed it was brass knuckles, or fucking punch. But like, I was just walking to a party. I had nothing to do with this guy. I was just like, those dudes are from the Catholic school, like bam, 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 I got fucking hit in the head. I was like,
there would be dudes that ran up that walked into a party just to fight. They'd come to the party to fight. We would have the local public school. This is the fucking best. We were, it's the way our school worked. Buses would come in the parking lot. The cars would be in the center. Buses would circle the side, and you all go to your buses. Whatever happened this one day, I guess one of the seniors of our school fucked around with one of the seniors from the public school's like girlfriend, and the public school activated. And when those buses came in, all the public school people came in, and they fucking came with bats, and they were fucking like, so we're all going to our buses, and it's like fucking like a gang fight. And like, and then all these brothers are teaching, and these brothers like rip off their robes and they're like, fucking throwing people. I was like, it was the craziest. I was like, this is and you're kind of like trying to avoid just getting a stray hit. But when I saw a brother rip off his fucking frock and throw a kid down, I was like, this is wild. That can't happen anymore. I remember the brother would get in trouble if he did that. Oh, I remember getting hit by teachers. I got hit. I got slapped across the chest.
I got beat up by a nun. Like, no, she once walked me up against a locker, and she was like, kind of like threatening me, and then popped my head like, and it cut the back of my head. I was like, Jesus, I was like, it was like they were not messing around. My favorite brother was this guy, slightly blind. He's teaching math class, and we would fuck around all the time. And we had this like rubber bouncy ball, and we'd throw it at the blackboard. Like, he would turn, we'd fucking throw it at the blackboard and catch it before he turned around.
Yeah.
Like, who did that? Who did that?
Yeah.
And so we'd fuck with him all the time. And one day we weren't fucking with him at all. But this one kid in the front, nice kid, not a troublemaker at all, raised his hand. But I guess he thought it was like to attack him. And so he just saw it out of the corner of his eyes and slightly behind. He's like, ah! Grabbed this kid, pulled him out of the desk, threw him on the ground, like, bam! And it was like, and everyone's like, just shocked, like, what the fuck is going on? and he was like, oh, so sorry. Just like kind of put this kid back in the chair, but it's like the nerdiest kid that he's beat the shit out of. Like, it was so crazy.
I was telling this to my daughters, our thing would be, I can still do it to this day. If you could whistle, everyone knew how to whistle without their lips.
Yeah.
So you'd go like this.
Oh, right.
And you go, who is that? Mr. Kreischer? And I'd stop and someone else would pick it up. And it would fucking...
Oh, my God.
It's now how I whistle. To this day, it's how I whistle. Right. And it would, All Boys Catholic High School was probably the best experience I ever had. I'm so grateful I did it. I learned, I saw a fist fight my very first day. I'd never seen a fist fight before. Yeah. And a dude who was probably 4'11" stood on a chair. He had gone to a Catholic school too. Stood on a chair and punched a dude that was 6'3". Stood on it, pulled a chair up and punched the guy.
We had this thing in my school where we would pull chairs out from underneath people when they were sitting down in the lunchroom, right?
Yeah.
And what you would do, it was this sounds terrible, whatever, but for kids, pull a chair out, and then the minute you fall on your ass, the whole cafeteria would go like, dick, 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 dick. Right? So it's like, again, making fun of like the right. So they did it to a football player who had broken his leg. And so he fell, and it was the first floor, but it had all glass windows in the cafeteria, and his crutch fucking broke the window, and then he fell out the window, right? So it was like, there was no fall because it was like the first floor, and he falls out the window, and everyone's like, dick, like this kid with a broken fucking leg fall out a window. And
if you walked in late to class, inevitably the whole class would go, Duke, 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 Duke of Earl, Duke, Duke. And the teachers would lose their shit. I remember my first food fight at an all-boys Catholic high school. They're like, yo, food fight, get an apple. And I was like, what?
Oh.
And they're like, it's just apples. We're having a food fight. And I remember there was a guy that pitched for our fucking baseball team who was throwing a 90-mile apple across the fucking, they would pop. And if you got hit by a fucking apple, dude's eyes were closed.
Oh, it's brutal. Like I got hit by an apple. Oh, yeah. I've been hit by an apple.
Hey, or did you come in? Do I have an IV?
Yeah, your IV is downstairs. Wait.
Okay.
And I know, I just looked at the time. I have to wrap it up too because I have to be somewhere in a minute. But that's.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No.
Listen. I want to come back. I want to do a drinking podcast with you.
Oh, man.
I would love to do your podcast.
Yeah, I want you to do that next time we're in LA. I'm gonna get your info and we'll do it. That would be the best.
I've been a fan of yours for a very long time.
Oh my gosh, I feel the same exact way. The fact that you even know me. I'm like, when I heard I could come on the show, I was so pumped.
You've been. I've known of you probably as long as I've been in comedy. I think you've been killing it.
You're lovely to say. I'm just in awe of what you're doing. I was like watching your stuff, and I'm just like, it's awesome.
Well, we have to do a date night. We're gonna bring your wife, and my wife saw your house was in our
Oh yes, that was like the
beautiful fucking house.
It was we got lucky with that house.
God damn, I just assume your wife has amazing taste.
Yes, it's all my wife. I'm not gonna take any credit for that at all. I as a matter of fact, I think Architectural Digest was pissed off that they had to Photoshop out a 6 foot tall Kawhi Leonard pasty on the wall of my kid's bedroom. My wife's like, you got to take that down. I was like, no, the kids are going to love it.
Thank you for doing this. Everyone get the book.
The book is available wherever you get books. Joyful Recollections of Trauma is what it's called. I do the audiobook, and it's just, it's a book. It's out, and I hope you like it.
The audiobook's going to be fucking insane.
It's fun. I put clips from How Did This Get Made in there. I have actually home videos, and I was able to, so in the middle of stories, I could put that in there, so it's fun. Joyful Recollections of Trauma.
You're the best, buddy. Thank you.
You're the best. Oh my gosh, so fun.
This episode was brought to you by The Machine.